Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today, we'll be talking something very important, and it's about a video that I found really very interesting because, the fact that I understand that most palm-colored people has refused to speak up on some certain things going on all over the world because some of them are not affected or because it is not like, their problem or not, it's stressing them. So some of them refuse to talk about it or they look away on it, And she was like, Black people have been on this protesting and trying to speak up for almost everybody, and that they never come out to speak on anything. That the fact that they are keeping quiet, it means that when they are done with Black people and every other people of color, that they are definitely coming for them. And that is true because most of them have refused to speak up on things going on all over the world because I feel like they are really very scared of losing their palm coloredness. Like, why would they speak up when it is not affecting them? Because that is how I see it. But she was like, they are going to probably it is going to affect them. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. But it is already affecting you people. But just that you all are not looking far. You all are not seeing what is going on. You know what? Let's get into this video.
I have a couple of thoughts, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you think that you are far enough away from what is happening over there and that it will never affect you, or the most it'll ever affect you is annoyance on your feed, that you have to keep seeing the horrors that exist on this planet, I just want you to have heard this, like straight up, point blank, at least once in your life, if you haven't heard it already. You can hear it from me. I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I don't care if you think I'm fear-mongering. I don't give a shit. You think this is bad? This is just the beginning. What is happening to them is a test run for what they're gonna do to us. And that shouldn't be the reason you care, but it should terrify you. Because when, not if, when, you are in so much trouble and you are screaming and no one is listening because there's no one left to listen, because especially if you're white, you will be the last one affected by this. Just, I need that to be known. And if your response is, well, I'll make the right vote, that'll never happen here. You are wrong. You are so wrong. And God, I wish you were right. I do. But when there will be no time for an I told you so. Do you understand that? Nobody wants to be like, see, I told you. The world is ending. They're gonna kill us all. But they will. They will. They are. And you are okay with it. So, and you may not pay for your decisions of silence in this lifetime, but you will in the next. If not this one, you will in the next. Everything you have ever been told about how our government runs is a lie. Every time you've been told you have a choice, it is a lie. Every time you've been told that you're free, that is a lie. And then you say, freedom isn't free, you gotta fight for it. I know so many people are like tired and really just heartbroken with the shit they see every day, and watching people just live their lives and like take care of their own mental health, which, like, again, like, you're allowed to take care of your mental health, but you can't opt out of this because if you're my age, or I'm in between millennial and Gen Z, I tend to relate more to the Gen Z attitude. But if you're young, if you're a millennial or you're a Gen Z, we spend a lot of time talking about how our parents failed us by not fighting to give us a world worth living in. And a lot of us have spent a long time going, how did people not care for so long that the shit got so fucked up? And here we are. And so many of us are doing the same thing and justifying it with the same reasons. I got too much other shit to worry about. That shit you have to worry about has been manufactured for you to worry about. all of your worries and your problems, think about how many of them are real and how many of them have been imposed upon you by a system that wants you to suffer every moment. And then look to them for the answer for the problem that they caused. So then it's like, okay, what do I do? Because, like, what do I do? Anything, literally anything. If the bare minimum is for you to educate yourself, do that, because when you know what is going on, no one can tell you different. At the very least, educate yourself enough to know without a shadow of a doubt that it's wrong, what's going on. That it is horrible, that it is evil, that it is sinister, that it is vile. Come to terms with and face that so that we can all move forward. And also, if you're sitting there going, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Listen to Black people, listen to people of color, listen to Indigenous people, listen to the people who have led successful protests. Listen and read the stories of people who have led successful revolutions, who have fought against their oppressors and won. And most importantly, I cannot stress this enough, if you are sitting there going, what the fuck do I do? You can't fix the whole world. You can't fix what's going on over there, because we're here, but you can pick your corner of the world where you are physically. Not the internet. I mean, the internet, yes, where you are physically in this world, that is your corner to tend to. Those are the people that, when this gets really bad, those are the people you're stuck with. But when shit hits the fan, for real, the people who have been denying this whole time, the people who said over and over again, it's not gonna happen here, they won't be able to deny that it did, and that still won't help them survive. So what you can do now is prepare for the worst case scenario. If you haven't been doing that already, you should. Get ready and just don't shut the fuck up. Because how do you tell an entire generation of children, 10-year-olds in Ulta, 10-year-olds in Sephora, how do you tell a whole generation of kids that you have already given up on their future? And then how do you expect them to give a shit enough to want to make the world better? Anyways, that's all. Because there's no one left to listen. Because especially if you're white, you will be the last one affected by this.
Sometimes I think people who identify as white people don't really understand what's coming for them, because whiteness and blackness are fungible concepts. And while a black identity in countries in which black people are a minority is informed by the marginalization of those people and the reaction that they have to that marginalization, whiteness seems to be grounded in exclusivity. Because let's take the United States. A white person from Mexico who just arrived is a Latino. They might be benefiting from the systemically structural discrimination systems that were left to them by their colonial forefathers. But in the United States, they're not white, they are Latino. And they feel that exclusion when they are in the United States. So that's the first red flag for me. But I understand that certain people who consider themselves white in the United States or white in Europe have been lulled by the expansion of the concept of whiteness that has occurred from the 19th century onwards. Because, for instance, Italians, Irish, Slavic people, Greeks have been gradually, as whiteness has had the necessity to expand itself, to protect itself against the rising minority populations. They seem to have this idea that their acceptance to the club is now permanent. But let's go back to the Nuremberg laws in the 1930s in Germany. Let's reflect on what happened there. The Nuremberg laws defined what Aryan was. Dreadfully excluded their Jewish population, their black population, their Roma population. But it wasn't just them. There were white Germans that weren't considered Aryan. Because Aryan, like white, is a fuzzy concept. It's not just about the color of your skin or how tall you are. It had to do with your adherence to your set of ideas, set of practices that were both political and social. So white Germans who were disabled were not Aryan. which, associated with their vulnerability, made them the perfect targets to be the first cruelly murdered. Gay people, communists. They were white, but ideologically they weren't normative. Therefore, disabled. Therefore, not Aryan. And I think this is a perfect example of the ability that whiteness has to contract. And the privileges awarded to whiteness are contracting. And there are several factors that contribute to this. Economical is one of them. Because the capitalist system that was born out of colonialist exploitation, which is at the root of the creation of the concept of whiteness, doesn't have the same ability to be able to recruit the amounts of people that it needs to feed to its machine to be able to function at the predatory rates of profit that it has nowadays. And that's why things like this are happening all across the United States.
Says minors 16 years of age must be granted breaks and meal periods in the same manner as similarly permitted for employers who are 18 years of age or older. Can you tell me though, because I thought that adults, there are no requirements for adults to be able to have breaks. Where does it say that adults are required to have breaks?
Representative Cheney, you're recognized.
This refers to the same standards that the employer has, and I will remind you that it's a very difficult market right now, and as a small business owner, we bend over backwards to keep our employees happy. And 16 and 17-year-olds are very connected to each other. If they're working someplace and they're not happy with something, they'll ghost us at lunchtime. So the employers are taking care of their employees for the benefit not only of the employee, but for the need of the business.
What do white people think will happen if and when the white supremacists that they trust to defend their interests go into power? If you run a system based on exclusivity, and you manage to crush every single person that is outside of that group that is exclusive, who do you think is going to be the next group that is going to be exploited? And we're already seeing it. So if you're voting for an extreme right-wing party, deluding yourself that they somehow completely separated themselves from the white supremacy that defined them from the start, I urge you to ask this question to yourself. Is your whiteness impregnable? Are you shielded by enough wealth, social standing, power, class to be able to maintain the whiteness that you have? Are you immune from the vagaries of fate? And by which I mean, are you impervious to disablement? Because if on any of these categories you are unable to give me an answer of a resounding yes, I will tell you this. You obviously cannot be kind and empathetic and compassionate, but you can be smart. An equalitarian system that might give opportunities to all of the people that you dislike will keep you safe.
So this is all I got from this. And let me start by saying that a lot of white people know what they are doing. They know what is wrong from what is right. Some of them are not speaking up or not talking about it because it is not affecting them directly. So some of them would rather, preserve their personal mental health than trying to tackle what is going on all over the world. It is not new that Black people have been all over on it with other people and all that, trying to make life easier, not just for only Black people. One thing I love about Black people is the fact that they are not just only fighting for themselves. They fought or they are still fighting for every other person. So when they see where something is going wrong, that is just something that I love so much about you people. You all do not care how it is going. As long as it is not right, it is not right. You all come out straightforward and talk about it and say, this is not right. We are not going to support you because you probably supported it and all that. So they have been screaming about all this. And now let me say about this, white people, there is no afterlife. Number one is that they have been on Black people and every other people of color, and all that, maltreating and doing so many horrible things. And you all think you are immune. I understand that your color and the fact that you are white also, it's more like you are immune to some certain things. Some certain things cannot happen to you because or that your whiteness. But let me tell us this. Number one is that they are good. They have started with black people and every other person. And in the end, when they do not have any other person to terrify, or to terrify, they definitely will come back to you. So the fact that you have refused to speak up because you feel like it is not your fight, because you feel like you are not affected, trust me, in the end, you might actually not be the one that we experience that, but maybe other generations and all that. But the truth is that eventually you all will find out that your skin is just all you got, and there is nothing much, and the rest of it. And the reality is that a lot of them really do not see anything wrong with everything going on all over the world. And the fact that you see people sit back and talk about and think what it's going on, it's normal, because some of them feel like it is a normal thing. Some of them feel like they are not doing anything. US is doing their best. Israel is, when there are the real problem, when there are the real generators causing all the evil things going on all over the world and all that. So I want you all to understand that for the fact that you refuse to speak up on what is going on all over the world, or because it is not affecting you, because you are not being affected, because your family is not affected, because of your immunity and all that, I want you to know that it is still going to affect you one way or the other, because it's not, the table is already turning. And I know why some of them have refused to speak up on what is going on all over the world, or join black people to fight what has been happening and all that. Because they don't want to lose their whiteness. They don't want to lose anything. They still want to continue to be the head. That's why they refuse to come out. Most of them know what is right from wrong. They know that a lot of things are going wrong under them. But they would rather sit back in their houses, in their comfortable places, because it is not affecting them, and say some nasty things or do some nasty things, or make you understand that, it is their world. But trust me, it is no longer your world. The table is already about to turn. And I don't know what you are going to be left with. This is all I got to say. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye for now.